So I finally beat Final Fantasy VII Rebirth after 2 months, and we have a lot to talk about. And I just want to preface this video that if you want to go into this video spoiler free, fat chance, buddy. We're spoiling Final Fantasy Rebirth, original Final Fantasy VII remake. Just no one is safe, so be warned. Now that we got that out of the way, what the fuck happened? Did Aerith fucking die? This ending is way more intriguing than remakes, and it just leaves me wanting more. And this game makes you even ask more questions than remake. But after analyzing for a few days, letting it marinate for a bit, this game is way darker than it originally presents itself as. Even darker than the original Final Fantasy VII. So don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on some crazy theories that I have cooked up in the future. And with that out of the way, let's just get down to business, because we got a lot to dissect. So for this video, I want to answer the big question. What is Aerith's true fate? Is she dead? Is she alive like we've seen in the game? So real quick, let's recap. Again, spoilers for the ending of the game. So we see Cloud stop Sephiroth from killing Aerith at the capital, right? But despite that, Sephiroth still kills her. Cloud sees this, and we get flashes of memories, which we will get back to later. He eventually looks down at Aerith, and she seems okay, even saying to him, "Cloud, it's okay." Then, closing her eyes again, everybody else rushes in, and they see Cloud holding Aerith seemingly dead. Sephiroth talks some shit, which will be important later. They fight Jenova, and then you get into this massive boss rush with Jenova, Sephiroth Reborn, which we don't originally see until the end of the original game. The two worlds that we see in the game, Zack and Cloud's world, are starting to merge, and we're seeing this happen real time. So now Cloud, Zack, and the entire game, all in the different worlds but are fighting the same entity, have to fight and defeat Sephiroth. And in the final fight, Cloud fights Sephiroth with Aerith. And once they beat Sephiroth, Aerith sends Cloud back to everyone else. And once everything is said and done, everyone rushes to Aerith. She seems dead, but Cloud walks up to her and says, "Aerith, wake up." And she does. We then cut to the pool where Aerith was originally laid to rest. But we don't see that in this game. Everyone is silent before they leave. Cloud has another glitch moment, and Aerith appears right next to Cloud, as if all of that never happened. But something is weird, because it looks like only Cloud can see her, because we switch to Tifa's perspective and Aerith is not there. This is further amplified in the CGI final cutscene where everyone is mourning her death. She doesn't react to the Bronco starting up, Yuffie doesn't notice her, Tifa is still mourning, and Red seems to maybe sense her, but she's not there physically at least. The only one who can even see and talk to her is Cloud. Eventually, we see them say their goodbyes, and Aerith is left there. I know that was a lot to take in, but now we can finally take our time and dissect some stuff. So to get to the bottom of this, we have to answer a few questions that and I'm pretty sure most of you had at the end of the game. Question 1. How can Aerith be dead if Cloud can talk to Aerith and see her, and also fight alongside him in the final fight? Aerith is there because when she's fighting Sephiroth and asks him, "How could you want this?" Sephiroth acknowledges her. That's because that's not our Aerith, or at least it's not the Aerith of this timeline. What I think this is a live stream Aerith. An Aerith that cannot exist in the physical world. The same Aerith from the date towards the end of the game, where she knows everything that's going to happen. That's why she gives Sephiroth the white materia, because the white materia in our timeline is blank. And we see Sephiroth specifically wanting to hunt down this Aerith, because he probably knows that this Aerith is the one that knows everything, and he needs to die. That same Aerith that we saw in the dream is the same Aerith that we fight with in the final fight, because she can exist in that plane of existence. But then that raises another question. So is the Aerith that we see at the end of the game just a projection of the livestream Aerith? That's why no one can see her but Cloud, right? That's a theory, but probably not for a few reasons. One of the reasons we talked about before, Cloud and only Cloud can talk to her. No one can even acknowledge her because she's just not there. That's red flag number 1. Another one is that Aerith does not act like the Aerith we know. In the ancient forest, we hear Aerith talking to Cloud, telling him to take care of yourself and just don't fight. But in the ending, when Cloud tells Aerith that we will beat Sephiroth, Aerith says You promise? Very enthusiastically, almost like she wants him to go fight Sephiroth, which goes against the Aerith that we know. This Aerith is not acting in character. It's almost like how Cloud would think she would respond. Another thing to note is that at the end of the game, we can see that Cloud has the black materia somehow, some way, but he decides to hide it from everyone. And Aerith tells Cloud that she will put everything in her prayers to stop Meteor. But that hasn't happened yet. Sure, we as players know that could happen. The party knows that that's something that would happen if they don't stop Sephiroth, but that hasn't happened yet. As long as they just don't go to the Northern Crater and give it to Sephiroth, that won't happen. So why is she saying that? Just in general, a lot of things that Aerith says here is just really out of character for her. But that seems intentional from the writers. And red flag number 3 is what happens the moment she dies, and it's probably the most damning. Cloud starts to glitch out and he sees different visions. Now at this point we might think that this is Cloud seeing her die in other timelines, but that's not what I think is happening. Remember who our main character is. Cloud is known as this unreliable narrator, and not just the original, but in this game too. He doesn't remember events clearly, a lot of his memory's spotty, and a bunch of characters doubt him because of his memory. And especially right now, Cloud is not in the best state of mind right now. I mean, for the entirety of Remake and Rebirth, his mind has been playing tricks on him, and Sephiroth has been manipulating him slowly, and he's starting to crack. And we see it reach a peak at the Temple of the Ancients, where Cloud is literally chasing Aerith for the black material like an actual crack fiend. Now, here we see him block the strike from Sephiroth, but she still dies. And we see Cloud say something, and in a recent interview we just got, Cloud is actually saying his original lines from the original FF7, but for some reason we don't see this. There's only glitches. It's almost like his mind is repressing them. Even Sephiroth tells Cloud that he'll never see the truth with such clouded eyes. We see Cloud actively denying the fact that Aerith is dead, because to him, she's alive. We see him block Sephiroth's sword. She said that she was okay. He refuses to believe that she's dead. That's why in the fight against Genova, everyone's limit break is maxed out because only they can see the truth. They're angry. But Cloud isn't, because to him, she's alive. That's why at the end of the game, Cloud is the only one who can see Aerith. He is in such denial that Cloud is seeing a schizo ghost of Aerith. But it's not surprising, because this isn't the first time this happened. When Zack died, he absolutely refused to believe it. And with the mix of the Mako poisoning from being experimented on for 5 years and the trauma that he went through, he suppressed the death of Zack so deep down that he made himself believe that everything that Zack went through was his experiences. And the same thing is happening with Aerith. Cloud does not want to accept that she is gone, because to him, she is not. She's okay. He blocked the sword. She's alive. That's why Aerith is acting weird, because that's not Aerith. That's who Cloud thinks Aerith is. She's responding in a way that Cloud would think she would respond. That you should go fight Sephiroth. You should go beat him and get the black materia to him. And when looking at it, this ending is way darker than what happens in the original FF7. Because at least in that game, Cloud accepts it. But here, he isn't even accepting it. He won't allow her to die. Cloud's mental state is way worse, and everybody on his team is just super on edge with him. Tifa doesn't say a word to him. Barrett says that everything is riding on this and you better be ready to carry that weight. And the way that he just talks to everybody and responds is so unnatural. Aerith just died and he's just acting like nothing happened, and it bothers everybody. And Sephiroth is going to use this in part 3. When he's gonna expose the truth to Cloud, Cloud is gonna have a bigger crash and fall than he did in the original. He might go into a worse state than he was, even if he could get to a worse state than he was in the original. The way things are looking, part 3 could potentially be the darkest game in this series. But that's a discussion for another day. So when looking at the end, what I'm going with right now is that Aerith is gone. At least our Aerith in this timeline. She is gone, she is dead, and Cloud is refusing to accept her death to such an extent that to him, Aerith is alive. To him, Aerith is still here. This is gonna lead up to a hard crash and fall for Cloud when he gets to the northern crater. But that's for another video, and that is probably what happened to Aerith. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment down below, what do you think happened? Do you think Aerith's alive? Do you think that she's a figment of Cloud's imagination? Do you think it's that's live stream Aerith? Or something that Maximilian dude said, shout out to him, maybe it's a Genova manipulation and it's tricking Cloud, which is an interesting theory, but I'm more inclined to believe that it is Cloud mindfuckery shit. So here's your, your monthly Final Fantasy 7 video, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I want to upload more. I'm definitely gonna make a video on what I want to see in part 3, or what can you expect in part 3. And I also want to make a review eventually. That's gonna take a long ass time though. I'm gonna find a day to do it and just crack it down, because there's a lot to talk about. This game is fucking massive, but it is a fucking phenomenal game, man. 10 out of 10. But that's all I gotta say for today. I will see y'all in the next one.